Hey, welcome to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I wanted to first congratulate those of you that matched in Phase 2. Certainly it's been a harrowing month, but congratulations on persisting and succeeding, and that's great. Your chances were around 13%, and kind of the Star Wars never tell me the odds, because you conquered them, and congratulations, that's great. For those of you that didn't match, now you kind of go into this zone of, okay, well, I need to get a job and all of that. And certainly there are opportunities because of the number of vaccinations that as a country we need to do. But what I wanted to do was talk a little bit more about kind of those non-traditional jobs that maybe are a little bit more satisfying. If you were looking for residency, then it's likely that you will feel that the community pharmacy position may not be something that you want to stay in for an extended period of time, or maybe you were in community pharmacy and applied and it didn't work out. Definitely, again, welcome to the international students or international listeners that we have. We actually broadcast in, I think there's 150 countries listen to the podcast, so welcome to you guys as well. And what I wanted to do was first talk about kind of a book that you can listen to or read, or a website that you can go to that has very different jobs than traditional pharmacy jobs, and talk to you about a course that you can take. Some of you might be thinking, well, I probably should get a master's degree or something like that. And there's truth to that if you work 20 hours a week, you'll make what a resident does working 60 hours a week. And what are you going to do with those other 20 or 30, 40 hours? Well, you could complete a credential of some kind or another if you like. But today, again, we're going to go through three things: a book, a website, and opportunities to take some free courses on your way to a possible master's degree or some other credential. So I wrote Finding Your Unicorn Job for Pharmacists: Financial Freedom, Flexible Hours, and Personal Fulfillment Beyond the Pharmacy Counter, as a way to share that I didn't realize that work didn't have to feel like work. I really enjoyed being a real estate agent, which was one of my unicorn jobs, serving other pharmacists actually. And as a community college professor, which I am now, and I have been for over a decade. And this position has allowed me no nights, no weekends, time with my children, being able to coach their track and soccer and gymnastics. Well, I'm the ride, but I certainly don't coach gymnastics. But it's given me tremendous flexibility and hours and things like that. Personal fulfillment, obviously giving to others, teaching. There's a reason why teachers stay in their position for as long as they do, and professors. And then financial freedom, while I don't have, as much that you would say, okay, well, you need to have 20 times your annual income to retire. I don't have that, but I certainly am comfortable and in that club where we have a couple of years of income saved up if something were to happen. And then also passive income coming from many different places. But the reason why I recommend the audiobook is that the narrator, Mike Lenz, actually is a narrator. And he left being a pharmacist to do this full time. And it's just kind of one of the really neat jobs that are in there that are beyond that pharmacy counter. The next thing was higheredjobs.com, probably one of my favorite sites for kind of nerdy jobs. Although the Iowa doesn't have that many because we just aren't a very big state. There's only 3 million of us. Some of the other states do. And you can find many jobs that a pharmacist is qualified for, but often they won't say pharmacist. And that's kind of a little bit frustrating, I guess, but it's kind of neat to explore these jobs where you're going to be intellectually challenged. And this is where I found my job at a community college, where I also found a position during residency where I was able to be the volunteer assistant at the University of Iowa for the women's cross country and track and field team. So I'd actually applied for a track and field job, and the coach reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to be the volunteer assistant? And so I did that while I was doing residency. So a neat way to really feel very fulfilled during that residency year. Last recommendation I'm going to make is Coursera. You may have heard of this. There's a number of free courses and things like that. And I'm going to show you the credential. There's an MBA that's available from Illinois, and then a Master's of Science in Management. The MBA, I think, is $22,000. The MSM in Management is $11,000. But there's a way that you can take the classes, some of the classes, for free without ever committing anything. And so if you go into this kind of Coursera course, there's going to be a point where he says, well, are you interested in trying a course first? And what I would do is look at yourself and say, okay, well, what would be the course that would most likely lead me to my next best step? And for me, if I was just graduating, well, I have a project ahead of me, and that project is to find fulfilling employment. And so I would think about project initiation and planning. But if I'm maybe someone who was already working, and I tried to get residency as a way to move on to strategic leadership and management or something like that, I might do that one instead. Or if I want to go into financial services, I might start looking at the financial management specialization. So these are ways that you would kind of click on that, and then you can enroll in the course, and you can start taking it for free. It's going to tell you that you need to pay for it, but there's a little button that you can push which says audit the course, and then you can take that for free. So again, I've got kind of those three things that I would recommend that you get right on if you didn't match for a residency. First, listen to that book, Finding Your Unicorn Job, so you can start thinking about some of the goals and places that you may want to go next or that you may want to explore. And I wouldn't limit myself to pharmacy positions. That in some ways is going to be quite a frustrating journey, especially if you were hoping to be in a certain area. Second, see what kind of jobs that you might be going for if you do want to work in higher ed, and many don't require residency. They simply require that you've had 18 credits or more in a subject area, especially those of you who have other degrees. So for example, I'm able to teach because I have more than 18 credits in chemistry and more than 18 credits in biology. And so in addition to teaching pharmacology and introductory chemistry, I'm eligible to teach all the chemistries, anatomy, physiology, and a teaching certificate might have been something that you really wanted. So teaching, definitely something that I love. And then to check out Coursera. They've really got some great courses that you can take for free and kind of start moving towards something. Don't feel like you have to jump into a $100,000 MBA, that you can just say, okay, well, let me start right now with which MBA course I would take first. And that will tell you a lot about yourself and about where you want to go. So again, congratulations to those that did match in phase 2. If you just kind of want my thoughts, feel free to contact me at tonythepharmacist@gmail.com. I'll be happy to talk to you about your situation and see if I can help you out. But again, many options out there. And looking back when I was doing this interview with PLS, residency was probably not the best thing for me. I probably should have tried to earn a teaching credential like an EDD or even an MBA or something like that while working 20 hours a week in a pharmacy. And it all worked out, certainly. But I do think that you should get going right now to get out of your head this whole thing about the residency.